Morning, everybody. We'll come to order, please. Morning. We're going to ask Chairman Hawkins to open us up with a word of prayer here this morning.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Please bow your heads. God, we come to you today and pray that we have the eyes to see the best in people, the heart that forgives the worst, a mind that forgets the bad, and a soul that never loses faith in God. Thank you for this day, and please guide us in our deliberations. Amen.
Thank you, sir. Okay, to those who would be presenting bills today, some bills have not been reported out of committee yet. So if your bill is not on the blue sheet or the yellow calendar, then we'll need to have you come back in the morning at 9 o'clock. So if your bill is not on the blue or yellow sheet, you don't need to be asking for that today. If it is, we'll be glad to hear from you. Okay? Let's go ahead. Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, members of the committee and Mr. Chairman. I am asking for favorable consideration of HB 7. It is the first bill on the yellow sheet, and it is an amazing bill. Let me tell you about it. HB 7 gives a $4,000 income tax credit for graduates of a workforce readiness program employed in full-time in high-tech jobs in our rural counties. So it was in rules last year, and thank you to Chairman Blackman for working with me on this the last 2 years. So I ask for your favorable consideration of HB 7.
HB 7. Okay, don't see any questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Representative Glaze.
Good morning, colleagues. Good morning, Chairman. I come before you asking your favorable consideration for House Bill 583, which is on page 6 at the top. The LC is 394705S, and this bill is in reference to adding a second free license plate for veterans who are totally disabled or have a level of disability. So at this point, they only have one, and we're asking for a second one for their spouse or for a second car. Again, thank you for your favorable consideration.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Don't see any questions. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. On the yellow sheet, I bring to you HB 718. I'm working from LC number 590125. And HB 718 seeks to make the first week in April of each year Women's Golf Week in Georgia. Thank you, and I ask for your favorable consideration.
Okay, I don't think that one's made it out yet.
It should be on the yellow sheet, I was told, but I don't know. 718, yes.
7. No, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, sir, Chairman. Chairman Corbett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Third page, 13th one from the top, House Bill 351. I'm back to ask for that bill again today. This is the EPD department bill, and basically all we're doing, we're just clarifying the permitting process for a solid waste landfill, who's responsible for what, the public hearings that need to be held. It's to prevent future lawsuits with the state and locals, save money.
Okay, we do have a question. Chairman Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Does the gentleman yield?
Yes, I do.
This is a project, a work that has been going on for over 2 years. And I know EPD and you have been working with all the various interested parties. And a lot of the bill just clarifies what needs to be done and the process to follow. But there's a good buy-in around the state. There is a need, we need to do this. And I thank you for your tenacity and sticking with it.
Thank you for helping us perfect the bill. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Don't see any more questions.
All right, I have another one on the third page, 16th down from the top, House Bill 371. And basically what we're doing there, we're just raising the maximum allowable that we can appropriate in any one year from $300 million to $375 million for capital outlay projects. This is a maximum. We can appropriate less than that. It doesn't take effect till 2027. Two things that has caused the need for the increase. One, inflation, it had been increased since 2007, and also pre-K was added to the FTE funding formula last year as well. So that's the two reasons we need to increase, and I appreciate your favorable consideration.
Okay, don't see any questions. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Yellow sheet, page 5, House Bill 449. This bill, Georgia's one of 5 states that does not regulate private water companies, and this bill looks to do that on companies that use surface water for distribution. I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Okay, don't see any questions.
Thank you, sir.
Chairman Yoder.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, committee. I have 2 bills, 484, House Bill 484 and House Bill 485. They're on page 4. Near the bottom, House Bill 484 allows for the Georgia law books, which are the tan books in some of your office rather than black code books, to be published in either hard copy or digital form. Maintaining a digital option can improve the accessibility of these important as it becomes more difficult to find a cost-effective publisher. Any questions?
Don't see any questions on that.
Okay.
What's your other one?
All right.
485?
All right. 485 is, this isn't the annual code revision bill, but it's something that Ledge Council worked on during the off season. It actually helps clean up the code in a number of ways. First, it streamlines and modernizes technology as some of the federal references in the Georgia law. For instance, changing the names on certain things like the No Child Left Behind Act, which has since been named the Every Student Succeeds Act. It also addresses items in the code which have been deemed unconstitutional. Also, it addresses items that have been unfunded that have been on the books for some time. And any unconstitutional portions of the law that require further debate or major policy discussions were not included in this bill. And I want to thank the Legislative Council for the work they did on this and the House Budget and Research Office for their assistance. And I ask for your favorable consideration.
Okay, don't see any questions on either one of those. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Representative Sharper.
Good morning. Thank you, Chairman, members of the committee. We'll be coming off the blue sheet, House Bill 369 on the blue sheet, and I'll be asking your favorable help on this one. Something to put your glasses on. House Bill 369. Basically, what it's doing is a safety measure for the ice cream trucks to have a little bit more signage on the back and on the side, because not too long ago, in October 23, we had a child here in Fulton County was killed by a driver that was going around the ice cream truck, and we're just asking them to slow down a little bit. And as a paramedic, that's one thing you don't want to roll up on the child in that situation. Thank you.
Don't see any questions. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Representative McLean.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. I bring to you HB 494 is at the top of page 5, LC 394607. And what this bill would do, would require moped drivers to have to be covered by some form of financial responsibility, which provide the ability for them to replace the damages for liabilities and account for accidents that they cause or that they may be in. There are 25 states that that require mopeds to have some type of insurance, and that includes states like Alabama, Mississippi, Texas, New York, California, Pennsylvania, Utah, Colorado. That's just to name a few that require mopeds to have some type of form of insurance.
Okay, don't see any questions. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Representative Carr.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm here to present House Bill 529 today. It's on page 6 of the yellow sheet, third from the top. This bill is called the Georgia Online Automatic Renewal Transparency Act. Mr. Chairman, virtually everybody in this room has been shocked or surprised by an automatic renewal on a subscription they've gotten where prices have shot up dramatically, and virtually everybody in this room has been incredibly frustrated with the difficulty of getting out of some of these subscriptions at times. The Georgia Online Automatic Renewal Transparency Act addresses the challenges with automatic renewals of subscriptions, and it was passed unanimously out of committee, and I think it's a very popular bill. It crosses every line.
Okay, thanks, sir. Don't see any questions.
Thank you, sir.
Representative Wilson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Today I bring to you, this on the yellow sheets, page 4, House Bill 429. This is a result of a constituent calling me and asking me why they are still paying taxes on a motor vehicle that was purchased prior to 2013. It's a 2010 car, and I said, a good question. Let me see what I can do for you. So what it does is it removes the annual ad valorem or the birthday tax on motor vehicles purchased prior to March 1st, 2013. Anything after that is not taxed currently, so this would put them in the same treatment category. And I would ask for your favorable consideration and answer any questions you may have.
Okay, don't see any questions.
Thank you,
sir.
Mr. Chairman.
What, we do have a question too. Big Pro Tem has a question.
Since 2013, is that when we passed the birthday tax? And so they've been paying ad valorem for what?
They've been paying ad valorem
Right.
for, this will be the 12th year
12
that
years,
other car owners do not pay,
So
correct?
now we're saying you've paid enough and,
Yes,
okay,
that
thank
is
you.
correct. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, that takes,
Representative Wilkinson, what was the fiscal note on that?
There is no fiscal note. There is no impact to the state for
there's no
this,
impact to
so
the state.
it only
That's right.
impacts the locals. I will add this: there was a request from ACCJ to like do an opt-in, but that would be a tax increase because that money would go to the state. So this is no impact to the state
It's
at
just
all.
eliminate the money that the locals are receiving now.
That is correct.
For old cars. so
For
it's
old
not-
cars that they've been paying taxes on for 12 years
Thank you.
plus. Thank you.
thanks, sir. Okay, that's everybody on the wall. Before we get to the members for your request, we need to have a little housekeeping I'd like to do. I'd like to recommit House Bill 397 back to governmental affairs. Do we hear a motion for that? Have a motion and second. Is there any opposition? Okay, it's back there. Okay, any members of the committee have requests? Let's see. Chairman Green.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, on page 6, the fifth one down, House Bill 593, which is really a local bill, but it has to be a general bill for probate judge, provide for a nonpartisan election. Thank you.
Okay, don't see any questions on that. Thank you, sir. Chairman Newton.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Also on the yellow sheet, bottom of page 3, House Bill 341 is an insurance plan. It's a department bill from the Department of Insurance in an effort to find out where the gaps are in insurance coverage. Some people that work for small businesses, 10 employees or less, are often not able to afford a full-fledged plan. This allows the employer to contribute an amount and let the employee also pay an additional amount to get an individual coverage off the Georgia Access Program, where over 1.5 million are already on it, but this allows the employer, once again, businesses 10 employees and less.
Okay, have a question for you, Pro Tem.
I had a question, Representative. So this is, you mentioned a department bill that went through Ways and Means, is that right?
Correct.
Is there a cost to the state for this?
I'm sorry, yes, it is a $600 per year per employee tax credit to those small businesses to encourage them. They have to spend at least $1,200, and many or most of them spend $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 of employer contribution, but this does give them $600 per employee as a tax credit, as an incentive to encourage people who don't have a plan already to add one.
So state taxpayers would be subsidizing $600 per person for their health insurance?
Right, maximum of $5 million a year.
Okay, thank you.
I do have an
Okay.
additional one.
Go ahead. Did you-
Okay, over on page 6, at the top of page 6 on the yellow sheet is House Bill 526. It regards historic renovations of historic properties, recognizes that with commercial properties, ADA and other standards require a lot more in-depth work, and this allows but does not require a local government to not just give 8 years of a property tax abatement plan, but up to 20 years. It's not mandatory, it's just permissive, and there's no state funding involved.
Okay, don't see any questions. Thank you, sir.
Thank
Chair Lady Dempsey, is that for you?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There are two on the yellow sheet, and I know we may need to talk about them further as we get closer on the trail, but I thought I'd put them in the purview here. So HB 567, which is on the yellow sheet, and it is on page 6, about 2/3 of the way down. This will authorize and regulate the practice of teledentistry in Georgia by Georgia licensed oral healthcare team members. That's the first one.
Don't see any questions on that one. What's your next one?
And the second one is on page 7, 6th down. It is HB 677, which will deal with the challenge that we have of some of our children who are stuck in care situations in our hospitals as well as residential treatment centers. It will allow a team to come together quickly, the match team, which already exists, and try to help find proper placement for them as they are released from care.
Okay, don't see any questions on that one. Okay. Chairman Hawkins, did you have a request?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. It's on the yellow sheet, page 7, top of the page, HB 629. CHOA brought to me an issue that they were running into. We passed legislation last year on AEDs in elementary schools, but back in the original legislation, which involved only high schools years and years ago, it required that the program be evaluated and certified by a physician. In modern times, that they found that not to be necessary because it does allude to requirements on national standards. Also, the AEDs have changed so much that now you just place the AED on the patient, push a button, and it tells you what to do. So this would take a load off CHOA.
Okay, don't see any questions on that. Chairman Blackman, do you have one?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I know Chairman Newton's already mentioned HB 341. We missed a date change on that, and I know that we've been focused so hard on working on some of the language, and they have been so amenable to it that we would like to recommit and then get it back to you with that date change if at all possible. So I would move that we recommit 341.
Send it back to
Ways and
Means.
Yeah,
Okay, we recognize for a motion for that. Is there a second? Is there any opposition to sending that back? 341. It's back, okay. Chair Lady Cooper. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On the third page, next close to the bottom, House Bill 393. It's the Safer Cycling in Georgia, brought to me by one of my high school seniors and supported by most of the cycling clubs.
Tell us that number again.
Oh, 393.
393?
Right.
Okay.
Trying to where they can turn right if no one is coming, and they look without having to stop, because that will help.
Speak right into that mic. They're having trouble hearing. Now turn it up.
Sorry. 393 on the bottom of page 3, next to the last one, is the Safer Cycling in Georgia Act, brought to me by one of my high school seniors and supported by the bicycling clubs across Georgia. They are trying to be allowed, like they tell me motorcycle people can do, to turn right if there's no one coming or in the back and there are pedestrians blocking, so they don't have to slow down and are less likely to be hit, and will reduce the number of accidents. Thank you.
Okay. Don't see any question. Thank you, ma'am. Chairman Stevens.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On page 4, the yellow sheet, House Bill 382.
allows, we have a drug that's coming to the market before we're back in session so that we can put it on our annual drug update. This allows them to move it from a Schedule 1 to a Schedule probably 2 and allow the board to use its emergency powers until we can get back in session and put it on our drug update bill.
Okay, don't see any questions on that. Okay, on our calendar for today, I believe we have 17 propositions that are on the debate calendar for today. I think that'll keep us busy for a while. So all we're going to do this morning is have a hearing, and I suspect we'll all need to get together later on in the day and have another little conference. So y'all have a good morning. Thank you.